Hello guys, it's something you don't see every day. This is a '05 E320 CDI, and complaint was a mass airflow sensor. I think code was P0101, I believe. And so I checked the power, checked the ground, checked the signal on the sensor. That turned out to be okay. I had a ground, I had a 12 volt, and I have a signal. The signal was varied around, I think, 1.4 volts at the idle. The wide open throttle was 3.5, and so basically the engine was in a limpo mode. The turbo was not working whatsoever, would not activate the turbo, and eventually it would get to 60 miles an hour, but very sluggish. I rebuilt this turbo back in the summer, some 6-7 months ago, and it was working fine. And so I did a check all the hoses and looking, maybe something was unplugged. Everything was okay, and so well, I said there's no way that the turbo went out so quickly, and at some point was actually turbo was working a little bit, and it went to the limpo mode again. And so after that I checked all the hose, all the boots and everything was intact. So I said, well, it has to be some kind of restriction. Of course the air filter was fine, and I said most likely it's the intercooler that got plugged up, because this turbo was had an internal leak, oil was leaking, contaminated the whole system. And so I talked to the owner. He said, well, before he actually also had a intake completely removed and cleaned up. And so I'm looking around to just to kind of see what is involved. It has to be a restriction to remove the intake, and I just glanced to a EGR valve, and look what I have found here. Let me get my light. The EGR valve is completely unbolted from the intake. Let's see how much gap. This screw is completely, almost pretty much loose. There you go. I haven't touched anything yet, so this screw is completely loose, and the other one as well, I believe. So it's pretty kind of stuck there. I can move it now a little bit. So I need to let me see what's going on. Kind of take a peek inside the intake as well. But I think one of the problems also is that this bolt here, the threads are gone. It has to be tapped again, and so let me take this off and see what can I do with this. I've got this fixed, tapped hole, got the new bolt here. The other one was fine, it was just get loose, because this one here was completely loose, and doing the vibration this one got loose as well. I'm not sure again how I could not hear any air coming out. I guess it's kind of diesel, it's louder anyway, but I know this has progressively got worse. It was not like that right away, but it's still kind of odd that I didn't catch that on time. And so right now it's fine, it's not going anywhere, it's very secured. I am a little confused why the computer did not flag the code for EGR flow. You would think they would do that, but it didn't. And I'm hoping there still has the code stored in the power control module, so we're going to retrieve the codes and take it for the test drive. And so anyhow, when you have a code for the mass airflow sensor, it's not always the sensor, it's not always the wiring on the sensor or dirty mass airflow sensor. You got to make sure to inspect all the hoses, your intake, your air sorry, your filter, air filters, the box, all the hoses, especially on the turbo. You got a lot of hoses around from the inner cooler all the way down, all the way around. So I guess it would be the best to actually use a smoke machine to smoke the system and make sure you got no leaks. And but I did visually look everything, but I never actually suspect the EGR to be a problem. And so anyhow, we're gonna take it for a test drive, and let's see how it goes. But again, I'm really surprised that computer did not flag the code for the EGR flow at all. It's kind of odd. Let's see if that code is still stored for the mass airflow sensor. Check engine light is not on, but it would come on and off. But when I pulled the codes, I would have a MAF sensor code. I hope it's still there. Here's the code, and that's what I've been trying to figure out, why it's flagging this code, is why it's going to the limpo mode. And as I said, I checked the power, ground, and the signal. Everything was okay, but it was just not reading right, and because of the EGR valve that was unbolted. Now, honestly, for some reason, I didn't really hear any air coming out of there. I mean, it was such a big old hole. How I couldn't hear it, I'm not sure. I'm still kind of really, I have no idea how I could not hear the air coming out of the intake. Let's just go there now. Let's go to the check boost here. When it's in the limpo mode, let's see this, like the positioning here is at 95%. It would be at 10% when it's in the limpo mode. So now it's okay. There's a charge pressure positioner. Again, I don't work on a diesels, and I don't work turbo cars at all, so this was totally new to me. But anyhow, I was able to kind of figure it out. But anyhow, you can see this is at 95%. This is go down to like 50% when it's at the full, when you have like a wide open throttle. And the boost pressure in the pascals, oh come on, it pretty much mimics the RPM. You can see it's kind of pretty much the same almost. You can see right here it's going, it's working right now, so everything is fine. So let's take it for a test drive real quick. Let's go from that stop. There it goes, right on. I mean, it's accelerated great now. You can see it's changing the position on the turbo here, and I'm gonna go to a bypass here, and go on a cruising speed, and then we'll but anyhow, that was the problem. It was really odd. Again, I'm not sure how I could not hear that air getting out of the underneath the EGR valve. I have no idea. I do know that owner did actually clean the EGR valve in order to fix this problem, and but there was a one hole, the thread were gone, and I had to tap that and get the new bolt in, and now it's just nice and tight. It's not gonna get loose anymore. Alright, I'm cruising. I'm at like 48 or such. I mean, it goes now. Perfect. Let's look at here at the scan tool. I'm gonna accelerate again. You can see how it changes down when it activates the turbo, and the pressure is going up around 2 grand, mostly 2500 at the wide open throttle, and that's normal. This thing is not the air. I mean, a stupid light is blinking and it's giving me a headache. But I am buckled. It's probably whatever. Anyhow, this main problem is taken care of, and again, it's just because you have a code for mass airflow sensor, it's not always the sensor or the wiring. You have to make sure that there are no obstructions, make sure that the boots are okay, make sure that the air filter is okay there, and of course make sure that sensor itself is not plugged up with debris and whatever. So anyhow, this time was an EGR valve. Alright guys, it's Sunday night, it's getting dark, I gotta go to work in the morning, so alright guys, nothing special, but it can kick your butt sometimes. Alright, have a good one, thank you, bye bye.